Good evening, everyone. I'm Pat Harvey. Almost 3 weeks after fleeing their homes in Pacific Palisades to escape the deadly and historic fire, all residents are now allowed to briefly enter the burn area so they can survey the destruction. Meanwhile, LA Mayor Karen Bass is trying to reassure residents the city is moving as quickly as it can to boost the recovery process. And KCAL News reporter Tom Wait is live in Pacific Palisades with the mayor's message and how residents are coping. Good evening, Tom.
And good evening, Pat. I'm actually standing right where you were just a few hours ago asking the mayor about the recovery process. We were also with residents, as you said tonight, very powerful and moving experience to see people coming home, to see what's left of their homes. What's so incredible to me is how strong people are. They are fighting through the tears to get to recovery.
That's it.
Chuck Peel talking to his neighbors about his emotional return home. For the first time, all Palisades residents were officially allowed to come back. Peel lived here with his family on Bollinger for almost 2 decades.
For me, the house, that's one thing. It was a great little house, almost 18 years. But all the things inside that we lost, terrible. My dad's stuff, my mom's stuff from Africa, nothing, no pictures, all that.
Even in this, the darkest of moments, Peel is looking forward.
It's just about recovery. You know, now you just got to say, it's not about what you lost, but what did you find or where. That's the only way that I think I can process what's going on.
We're not rebuilding to have this happen again.
Exactly right.
KCAL News anchor Pat Harvey went to the Palisades to get answers about the timeline for rebuilding from LA Mayor Karen Bass and her newly tapped Chief Recovery Officer, real estate developer Steve Soberoff.
The question was when people said, I want to come back tomorrow and start rebuilding.
Right.
And you say, well, I'm going to get my own contractor.
Yeah.
But it has to be a contractor who has the requirements.
You can do that in phase 2.
Okay.
You cannot do that in phase 1.
Bass says once hazardous materials have been removed, homeowners will have 2 options for clearing the rest of the debris.
Once the toxics have been removed, then the owner has a choice. They can do it at no cost with the Army Corps of Engineers, or they can do it themselves.
This was my garage door.
For Peel and so many others, they're trying to move on from heartbreak and sorrow to figuring out how to rebuild.
The thing I'm really having a hard time, I just saw a neighbor looking for her cat, you know. What I'm struggling with is we really had a special street here on Bollinger.
And fire victims are clinging to moments like this. Peel's daughter capturing the moment when Peel's wife found treasure in the ash.
No way! Your wedding china!
Peel says he understands why so many Palisades residents were frustrated by having to wait for weeks to come home. But he says seeing the destruction for himself gave him perspective.
I saw when, you know, the president came and had a little bit of a standoff with Karen Bass, and, you know, you can understand both. Obviously, what he's saying, we all feel. We want to get in to see our house. We need closure. But it also has to be safe. I mean, these are buildings. Ours we can go into because there's nothing left, right? This side, it's all red tagged because it's partly, there's stuff about to collapse. What happens if they let us in officially too early and something falls on somebody, they die? Then who's trouble?
The other issue, of course, is the chemicals that are around. There is definitely a smell that is hanging in the air, and extended periods here could be potentially damaging to your health. The good news is we are seeing a lot of utility crews moving through the area, a small army of them trying to restore service here. Gas, water, electricity, so much to do. It's going to take a long time, but there is a lot of work being done. Reporting live in the Palisades, I'm Tom Wait. Pat, back to you.
Thanks so much for that, Tom. You know what I found? That it is going to take a long time, and people just want to get their lives rebuilt. But in the meantime, they have community with each other. I noticed a lot of that today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that was really the message from the residents we talked to, is they're obviously devastated by the loss of their home, but they're so sad about all their neighbors' homes and losing their neighborhood and their community, and they want to rebuild that.
All right, well, we hope they can get in sooner than later. Thank you so much, Tom.